This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Thank you for being with us with Jamie Lent and Brendan Riker. I'm Chuck Heinz. We come to you, Brendan, Jamie, and I, from the First United Bank studio. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to WT973.com for that of the mobile app. Visual Edge IT hotline at 2 is open, 806-771-0973. We get this, Jamie. Good morning. Listening to the Morning Drive in Austin, Texas hotel. Enemy territory. Okay.
Okay, good luck to you.
Yeah, behind the lines this morning.
Thanks for listening in.
Yeah. Let's see here. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Lubbock High was hot last night, but they should have kept pushing the ball. If they didn't want to score to go up higher, they could have done field goals. Other schools don't feel mercy for them. That's why they've lost so bad in previous games. Lubbock High players remember how fast they scored the last 2 touchdowns due to errors. Congratulations on the win. Keep improving. Yeah, just win, baby. Right? Sometimes you have to keep running your offense. That's what really Tech has done the last 2 weeks when they put the backups in. They want to keep running their offense so that those guys get some reps in the offense, not just handing the ball off to run the clock out.
And it went really well the first week and pretty mediocre the second week.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. No question about it. So we'll see. We'll see what tomorrow looks like. Because I think tomorrow, we've talked about this quite a bit, you're going to play your starters maybe all 3 quarters. Would be my guess on that. At least the starters that are available. You hope you don't have to use them into the fourth quarter. And maybe some of them might want to play into the fourth quarter just to get some reps. But if you have the game in hand, I would think that they would say to those guys, all right, you have done enough for today. We need to make sure that we've got a healthy bunch next week for Utah. Would be my take on that. And if it's 35-14, it's not really a whole lot that you can learn at that point in time from your starters. They've kind of done their job, don't you think?
21-point lead to start the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm keeping my starters in.
You're keeping your starters in? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
With 15 minutes on the clock?
Yeah.
21 points? Absolutely, I'm keeping my starters in.
So what does it have to be? 28?
I don't know.
You're going to feel the game, so to speak?
Yeah, but
okay.
35-21, I mean that.
No, 14.
35-14, I mean that's 3 scores. That can go away in a hurry.
Okay. Hard to get people ramped back up. Availability report came out yesterday. Out for Oregon State, Charles Esters III. He's been out the last couple of weeks, but apparently expected to be back next week for Utah. So that's good. Questionable for Oregon State, among those on the list, Romello Height and Mo Horn and Marcus Ramon Edwards and Ben Roberts. So that's a little bit of a concern there. You got some guys that have seen quite a bit of playing time, and obviously Romello Height, one of your starters. So apparently, I don't know what the nature of his injury is. It does not say that. Okay, and there was no mention of Romello Height or his injury or any concern about that on Red Raider football with Joey McGuire last night. He wasn't asked about that. Mo Horn, same situation, and Ben Roberts, same situation.
Just because you don't hear it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. If he's not asked about it, he's not going to be outgoing with.
Let me volunteer this all up here.
Yeah.
He's got a leg or a shoulder or an arm, which we know they all have legs, shoulders, and arms. We just don't know what's wrong with them.
Knees and toes.
Knees and toes too. Yes, elbows, shoulders, knees and toes. Knees and toes. When you say that, you got to say it twice. Knees and toes. Knees and toes. Right.
Well, don't I have to mention eyes and ears and mouth and nose if I'm going to do
the whole thing?
2 knees and toes?
Yeah, sure. Probably so. So among those probable for Oregon State, and I think probable means, yep, they're playing, A.J. McCarty. So you sure need him. because you got to assume that if Ben Roberts is out, that John Curry is going to slide over to that linebacker spot, and A.J. McCarty's going to play the star position.
Yeah, maybe so.
Maybe they'll switch things around a little bit. But Curry's listed as a backup to Jacob Rodriguez. Bryce Ramirez is listed as a backup to Ben Roberts. So who knows? Maybe Bryce Ramirez gets a start there. Let's see here. How about we just win? All this blowout talk is bad juju. See ACU and Wyoming. Wyoming, better team coming into this. You know, when you played them last year, or 2 years ago? Are they better? Yeah. Are they better than what you're facing in Oregon State?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Plus,
so.
it was a road game.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. 6:21 this morning here on.
And you're a way better team.
And you're a way better team. You know, the thing that's interesting is, you know, last year you started off the year without Charles Esters III, and that really hurt you. This year, it's not hurt you, but I mean, as we know, you've played real teams, you've not played real games yet. So
you also went out and got yourself a complete new defensive line, and Charles Esters became, you know, a piece and not the key guy or whatever. Right.
Speaking to Coach Joey McGuire last night on his radio show, he said that he was going to pull Baron Morton earlier in the ball game, but Morton said to McGuire, "Let me go till halftime." And so they also said that if they won the toss, they were going to take the ball to get things started. So I think they just wanted to get the offense out there and get Barron out there probably when he was warmed up. This is just my conjecture, but they felt like, you know, if Kent State won the toss, they'd probably defer to the second half. But with Texas Tech, if they'd won the toss, they were going to take the ball and go on offense right away. The clock on Skylar Gill-Howard for his run on the pick six, Jamie, they clocked him at 19 miles per hour.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty fast. And they were really happy with how he secured the ball. They said he X-factored the ball. So it kept it from being popped out of there. You know, sometimes you see those big guys, or even running backs or receivers, as they're running downfield, the guy comes up from behind and goes, and just, you know, pops the ball out. But they weren't going to do that to Skylar Gill-Howard.
Yeah, a lot of times defensive players, because they're not used to having the ball, they're not as good with their ball handling, so to speak, or they're just excited and don't think about putting the ball away and all that good stuff. So yeah.
Sure. So the other thing that he said yesterday, among the things, they want to lead the country in blocked punts or blocked field goals. And they feel like they've got guys up front like Lee Hunter and Duda Banks that can make that happen. They just haven't been able to. They haven't had as much of an opportunity to pressure people because, frankly, your opponents, you know, you've not been in that situation where they're kicking field goals. I mean, there've been, I think, a couple against you, and punts there have been a bunch. But man, that punter from Kent State, he was helping you without you even trying to help him.
He was. It was a bad day.
Yeah. They worked on their third down and short yardage. He said it was good. He said we want to be creative. We were poor at that last week. Miscommunication. And one of the things that he cited for the reason why those things didn't work well, he said that the running backs have to stay on their path. So it's not just about the guys up front blocking, it's the guys that are running in the right spot.
Okay.
And that made some sense to me.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
All right, the American League West race really tightened up last night, Jamie. It's even now. Although in the standings, they list the Mariners first, and they have now pushed the Astros over to the wild card spot, the third wild card spot. So I'm assuming by that, and I have not broken this down, that the Mariners have the tiebreaker on the Astros. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
They both have the same winning percentage and the same record. But how about this for the Seattle Mariners? They win again last night in 12 innings. They won 7-6 over the Los Angeles Angels. And for them, it's their second straight walk-off in extra innings. And for the Mariners, they became the first team, according to ESPN, to play consecutive games that lasted at least 12 innings since Major League Baseball introduced the automatic runner for extra innings in 2020.
Okay. Don't see a lot of 12-inning games now.
No, and there was 13 the night before. If you'd have said to me, what year you probably knew this. It seems like it's not been as long as 2020 since they introduced this, but 5 years is how long it's been.
Yeah, I guess I would have guessed something like that. Yeah, I think maybe I would have guessed longer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But how about the Mariners? They're kind of flying right now. Bryce Miller struck out 11 in 5 2/3 for the Mariners. So for the Rangers, I think this sets up best for them because next week they play the Astros, and so we've talked a lot about this over the last few weeks that if the Mariners could overtake the Astros, that might be the better spot for the Rangers since the Mariners have the tiebreak with the Rangers in terms of the season series. If you tied for a spot, it would go to the Mariners because of what happened during the regular year.
Yeah, so that would obviously help you if you're able to get that tiebreaker. Who knows what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's factoring into the wild card, whether it's factoring into the division, all the above.
So the Rangers are 2 back of Houston in the wild card spot and 2 back in the loss column. They're 4 back of Boston in the loss column and 5 back of Yankees in the loss column. So, it's if you keep playing the way that you're playing, the Rangers have won 4 straight, 7-3 in their last 10. Of everybody right there, they're playing the best. In terms of the last 10 games and maybe even in the last 20 games. And tonight they have another tough opponent. They take on the New York Mets, who are in their own dogfight right now after their series with the Philadelphia Phillies. The Mets lead San Francisco and Cincinnati by just a game and a half for that third wild card spot.
Mm.
So, obviously they've got a lot to play for, but
sure.
I think sometimes I feel like when you're the pursuer, there's less pressure on you than when you're the team that's ahead.
There's less pressure on you?
Yeah. If a team ahead of you has not been playing just great, I feel like sometimes the color gets a little tighter on maybe a team like the Astros or the Phillies or the Mets right now.
Well, you're a marked man.
Yeah.
Guy that everybody's going after, but you're in a better position than those chasing.
Yeah. Somebody points on the chat line, the Mets are on a 6-game losing streak. They lost last night to the Phillies 6-4.
Yeah, that was after they scored 4 in the first.
And as far as tonight's game is concerned, you got Jacob deGrom going for you. That's I don't know if it's as good as it gets, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
For the
Against
Rangers.
his old team, he'll have a little something for them.
Yeah, and hopefully he has a little something for them. Hopefully he's got that going. Let's see the predictometer for the matchup predictor for ESPN has the Rangers at 54.5 versus the Mets at 45.5. The Mets will send Jonah Tong to the hill tonight. He's 1-1 with a 4.09 earned run average, just 12 strikeouts. Well, he'll have I bet he'll be a little nervous about facing Jacob deGrom, the 2-time Cy Young winner, the 11-7, 278 earned run average. So the Rangers got to feel pretty good about what's going on tonight as far as their game with the Metropolitans. So Chuck, where do you think the Chuckometer for the Rangers will be on Monday morning? You know what? Here's an early bold statement, Jamie. I think the Rangers are going to be in the wild card spot come Monday morning.
Okay. Well, that would make us all happy.
Yeah, I think the Rangers now have just put the old kiss of death on them. The Mariners are in action this weekend.
To be in the wild card spot, they would have to win, sweep, and...
Well, they're 2 back.
Yeah, so they'd have to sweep and have Houston and or Seattle win only one.
Yeah, that's probably unlikely. That's a little too bold. I think you could be tied.
You could be.
You could be tied.
You could be 1 back.
Yeah,
you could be 1 up.
Yeah,
you could be 5 back.
You could. Yeah, that's right. All of those things. You could have all of those things. But I think I'm starting to feel pretty good about the old Texas Rangers and what they've been steady. They haven't panicked.
Mm-hmm.
And
15 games left, so it's getting tight. I mean, don't have a lot of room to make up this ground, but two games does not seem insurmountable, especially the way that they've been playing. You just got to keep playing at a high level.
Patrick Corbin will go tomorrow for the Rangers, and then on Sunday, let's see, I bet you it's Jack Leiter, but I'm not certain on that. No, it's Jacob Latz that will pitch for the Rangers. There's college football tonight. A couple of Big 12 teams, actually 3 Big 12 teams involved in action tonight, but one is a non-conference Big 12 game involving 2 Big 12 schools. So,
all 4 are Big 12 teams, right? Kansas State and Arizona is tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
they're both Big 12.
Yeah, and
Colorado and Houston, they're both
right?
Big 12.
Yeah, so there's 4, right?
There's 4.
Yeah, there's 4.
1 conference game and 1 non-conference.
One not. Yeah, K-State plays at Arizona tonight. That kicks at 8, and Colorado plays at Houston tonight. That kick is at 6:30. So see what transpires with those 2 games. I got a feeling the home team will win both of those, but we'll see.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Thank you for being with us today. You can weigh in on things on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app. It's brought to you by Happy State Bank. Give us your predictions and things along those lines. As we'll take note of that, see who comes out the best so far. I learned of a Morning Drive listener yesterday, Jamie, that it was a pleasure to meet him and pleasure to know that he tunes in on a regular basis to our show, and that's Monterey head football coach Jason Sims.
Oh, very cool.
So welcome him to the legion of people that listen to this fine radio program. And he's
probably already on his way to El Paso this morning.
I would think so. We'll have that game for you tonight on 93.7 The Eagle. It all gets underway at 6:30 and the kick at 7 Lubbock time. If you're going down there, it's going to be 6 o'clock Mountain Time. So that makes it 7 o'clock Central Time. Okay?
Correct.
Okay. So as far as that's concerned, so anyway, it was a pleasure to meet Coach Sims and talk with him, and he's among those that enjoy this show, Jamie.
That's great.
Yeah, so,
very cool.
Okay, so here's Coach McGuire was asked this last night on Red Raider Football with Joey McGuire on Double T 97.3, and I think we got more out of this than I thought that he was going to give us. Because this is with regard to the game last week between Kansas and Missouri, where, for whatever reason, the Missouri guys, the Kansas guys, I guess the Missouri guys kicked off.
Missouri.
After there was a blocked extra point. And they didn't kick off, they punted. Mm-hmm. And so Coach McGuire was asked about the suspending of the officials for a week and taking away a game from them. And he said this. He goes, I have a huge issue that we're in 2025 and we have the technology. I've been very vocal about this, and he has. We have the technology to fix stuff, and we have our heads buried in what used to be. In the NFL, they have replay assistants. We can do that in the Big 12. They're getting penalized for it, but there's a whole lot of people that didn't correct it. Every single play is supposed to be reviewed. Why didn't someone say, stop, you can't do that? That's a lot of common sense there.
Does the replay crew also, are they not, the replay guy, is he up in the booth, or two people, are they not part of the crew?
Yeah, and I don't know, right, and I don't know if they got suspended too or not.
Well, I mean, that would make sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
If
sure
they're
would.
part of the crew.
Yeah.
And like Coach McGuire is saying, so you can have all the technology in the world, but if they don't know the rule, they don't stop it, then they're, again, that's why I feel like they should be suspended just like the other guy.
Yeah. Well, and his point is it became a bigger deal than it should have been. He said because...
yeah, they should have just thrown a flag when it happened, and there would be no big deal.
Yeah. And he said that he's going to keep pushing for it, the replay assistance and things like that. It should be fixed. They're able to see it in Dallas. It's easy to do. Mm-hmm. I mean, and he's right. And he's absolutely right. It's like, why didn't someone say, you can't do that? You know, why didn't
So the replay assist that he's talking about is not the people up in a booth there in Missouri.
Yeah, I think he's talking about the guy. He said they're able to see it. And this is what he said.
Their games are being watched by people in the Big 12 back in some command center like Major League Baseball has in New York.
He did not say that, but it alludes,
I didn't know that to be true, but I'm not saying it's wrong.
It alludes to that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It alludes to that. I
didn't know that.
He said he's going to keep pushing forward. It should be fixed. They're able to see it in Dallas. It's easy to do. And I think maybe his point is that they have the technology to do the same thing that the NFL does. And it may not be it may just be the power force. But if it doesn't matter. If it's the power force, let's get it right? If you've got the ability to fix it and fix it easily, then so be it. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting that because he has spoken out about technology and making sure that they...
Yeah, where my frustration is and stuff like this is such a rare thing, right? Random thing. And I feel like that's what played into the officials letting it go. Because they're like, what? Nobody does that. Why did they? Oh, I guess it's okay. And they just moved on because it's so incredibly rare. My issue is that you have technology and you have a game where... like, for example, go back to the TCU game a few years ago where it looked like for the world that our defensive lineman had a face mask on the quarterback from TCU. And then you went and looked at the replay and you saw he didn't. It was grabbing the shoulder of the jersey and he didn't. I don't blame that official on the field for getting it wrong because it looked like it was right.
Yeah.
When you watched it in real time, it absolutely looked like it. Okay? But they had, the officials in the replay, once anybody could see the replay that he didn't. So why can't they fix that?
Yeah, and I think that's the also.
Yeah,
there's the kind of thing he's talking about.
Other times during the game where you see a guy get face mask, and again, officials aren't going to get everyone right, and they're not going to see everything, and they miss it, and that happens, but the replay officials can see it. So if we got the technology, why are we not using it then? That has nothing to do with a command center back in Dallas or whatever. That has to do with the people up in the booth at the game that you're at.
Yeah.
Why, when we have that technology, can we not do it? I mean, the NFL is using technology where, if they see a mistake on the field, they can quickly tell the guys, no, hey, that was not a catch. We don't need to replay it, but incomplete pass, whatever. They're doing stuff like that, even if somebody doesn't challenge it. So why are we not doing those kind of things in college football?
Yeah. Yeah. So this from my line. So there is a replay command center in Irving in Big 12.
Okay. So they're sitting there watching every game. I had no idea.
Yeah. And I think that's part of his And I think in a way he was like, again, he said it became a bigger deal than it should have been in terms of the officials getting suspended for a game when they could have fixed it and said, hey, guys, I don't know what you're thinking here, but they can't punt. They've got to kick off. I mean, we all make mistakes. We all kind of lose our heads in the heat of battle, so to speak. So
you're talking about how many ever officials were on the field. None of them did anything. However many people are in the booth. None of them did anything.
Yeah.
And then all the way back to Las Colinas, okay, where it's going on there, and none of them did anything.
Yeah. No one said stop. No one said, hey, this, you guys, his point was, why didn't someone say stop? You can't do that. I mean,
so
that
the
makes
people
sense.
at the command center get suspended too?
I don't know. I mean,
if that's their purpose, right?
Sure. Yeah. But anyway, it just, I think his frustration is, and I'm not trying to speak for him or think for him, is there's technology that can help the games flow better. There's technology that can help the officials better. There's technology that we all see that could be fixed. You can't right every wrong or fix everything, but there are some things that they could do that's similar to what the NFL is doing that could help the game, so to speak, and prevent obvious errors. How about that? Mm-hmm. So I think that's really what he's talking about there.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
A game that you'll hear tomorrow on Double T 97.3. The kick is at 2:30.
Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
Okay. Very, 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 very open-ended question. The biggest surprise coming out of the Big 12 football weekend will be?
This coming weekend. The biggest surprise will be that Houston defeats Colorado. I realize that Colorado is down. They're 1-1. Houston is 2-0. But I think the fact that Houston has 3 wins by the close of business tonight, because they play tonight, I think that'll be a surprise. Another potential surprise is if Arizona beats Kansas State tonight, them being 1-3 will be a bigger surprise than Houston being 3-0. So I'm kind of qualifying my answer here, but if K-State loses, I think that's the bigger surprise, that they're 1-3 after 4 games in this season.
So your answer was
K-State being 1-3 if
Okay.
they lose.
Well, okay.
Is that not?
Well, you're saying if. It's kind of like you're predicting what's going to happen.
Well, I'm going to predict them to lose. Okay.
So you're saying
they're going to be 1-3, and
that
that's
K-State is 1-3,
and that's a big. And that's, to me, if you'd asked me at the start of the season, one team's going to be 1-3 at some point in time, I would not have said Kansas State.
Totally fair. Totally agree. Yep.
I think for me, looking at this weekend in the conference, I think the biggest surprise coming from the Big 12 will be just how much parity there is this season. And there's still a lot of it's still early for Kansas State. It's still early for Arizona State. There's no need for anyone to hit the panic button, and there's no reason to feel comfortable if your teams like Texas Tech and Iowa State, who are in a good position. So I think we're going to realize at the end of this week, and no matter what happens, that this is going to be a fairly level playing field amongst the Big 12. I don't think there's any favorites right now. It's a pretty wide open conference, and we're just touching conference play. And so to me, that's going to be the biggest surprise after this weekend, is what we see from the Big 12 collectively as a whole.
Okay, so my answer is it's contingent on a few things here. I think that Arizona State is going to not look great against Texas State. I don't think they're going to dominate that game whatsoever. We're talking about an 18.5-point spread. I think it'll be much closer than that. Okay, Texas State played them to a 3-point game last year. I think when the Big 12 weekend is over, we're all going to be just a little surprised. So I'm kind of going against Brennan. A little surprised that Iowa State, Utah, and Texas Tech look so much better than everybody else. Yeah, I think those three teams are going to separate. Even though one of them is going to lose next weekend, guaranteed, I still think they're going to look like the top three teams, and they're going to start to separate as the conference season goes along.
And I want those three to kind of, not that I want those three to be the favorite. I kind of want to lean that way, but just with what happened last season with Arizona State, I just don't know if I'm quite ready yet to separate the contenders from the pretenders yet. I think once we get midway through October, it'll be much clearer. It may probably just be Texas Tech, Iowa State, and Utah, and then everybody else.
That's totally fair, Brennan. But if you remember what I said that Iowa State, Utah, and Texas Tech are going to look like they're so much better than everybody else.
Yes.
Okay.
Key look.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how we can say Houston winning at Colorado would be a surprise when they're favored by 4.5 points.
Yeah, no, it's in Houston, but yeah, you're that's fair.
Yep,
that's fair.
Yeah.
But we have a new listener here, Jamie, from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Chuck took the scenic route to get to that answer.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right.
It's not. It's a usual route for me.
I request 30 seconds and then we discuss, but we don't. Yeah, it's just. I
didn't know there was a clock on this.
It's just a suggestion. It's not really anything anybody listens to.
It's the clock. I need to do a better job of that. Trying to get to the point. Much better and clearer as well. That would probably be helpful as well. Clearer in the point. Okay.
Well, I don't think there's going to be any major surprises with losses this weekend. Although I'm going to pick Colorado to beat Houston. Okay. I also am going to pick K-State, but K-State is favored. Okay.
To beat Arizona.
Yeah.
I guess the big surprise would be if Abilene Christian walked into Fort Worth and beat TCU.
That would be massive, but I mean, you could pick out a lot of them, right? I mean, if Samford 0-2 won at Baylor.
Sure.
If Oregon State played within 7 of Texas Tech. If Iowa State went down to Arkansas State. If Wyoming beat Utah, I mean, we could go a lot of those, right? Yeah, but I think your answer about Kansas State. If Kansas State loses this weekend and they're at 1-3, I would definitely say that's a surprise. We didn't expect that.
I think they're pushing panic buttons all over the place in Manhattan.
I think they already are.
Yeah, there's probably some of that too. We get this from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Chuck drives to Montana on his way to see family in Kansas. Montana. So Chuck wants a pitch clock. Not really. Let's see this. Wyoming over Utah. Okay.
It's just not the same Wyoming team that we faced a couple years ago. I mean, meaning not as quality. I know that guys have transferred and some actually may have even graduated. I don't know. No, I'm not suggesting that. I don't think that Wyoming's a great team.
I think this is the big chalupa, unless we have another chalupa, which we can. We have more than one wands. We can have more than one chalupa. But he says, how can Texas Tech look better after the 3 games they've played? I don't think they will even look good until they play teams that look good.
Well, I'll tell you this: the first halves. What have you outscored your opponents 91-0?
Okay.
I think that looked good.
That looks pretty good.
I think that looked pretty good.
Okay. The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Good morning with Jamie Lent and Brendan Riker. I'm Chuck Heinz. We'll have Texas Tech and Oregon State tomorrow on the air, as we'll begin it with Optimum Game Day Live at 7. The kick is at 2:30 from Jones Stadium as Tech takes on an Oregon State team that's 0-2 on the season. They're averaging just 21 points a ball game. They're giving up 35 points a ball game. Their offense so far this year is averaging 420 yards per game. Here's Texas Tech defensive coordinator Sheil Wood on the Oregon State offense.
They are throwing the football extremely well. I think they're 18th in the country in passing offense right now at about 318 yards a game. I believe they're 16th in the country in explosive passes. So that's going to be a tremendous challenge, and they've got some really good receivers. Trent Walker, number 7, does a great job for them. The quarterback can push the ball down the field, and then I think their offensive coordinator does a great job with play design and trying to get different wrinkles and ways to kind of come back to some of the same concepts to be able to do that. So that'll be a big challenge for us this week.
So when you hear that, Jamie, you feel like that at least you'll have a little bit of a test this week.
Yeah, absolutely. No question, because, again, I think they're more athletic and they got a little more speed. I think all of those things make them, specifically their quarterback, is a bigger challenge. So I think that will make the defense have to play a little bit better if they're going to continue to hang zeros.
Malik Murphy is their quarterback. He is 52 of 81, 3 interceptions, 4 touchdowns. Boy, you almost feel like that there's interception opportunity, especially if you can put some pressure on him, that he might be a little wild with the ball.
Yeah, that's the hope, right? And that's been the hope all along with you, with what you've added to your defense along that defensive front, that you could rush the quarterback and not just get sacks, but force him into some bad passes.
So from a running standpoint, their leading rusher is Anthony Hankerson, 40 totes, 178 yards net. He's got just 1 touchdown. They have 2 rushing touchdowns on the season, one by him and one by their quarterback, Malik Murphy. So not too worried about that. They average about 103 yards on the game per game on the ground, and as Coach Wood said, 318 was the exact number. He was spot on with the passing yards per game. The average per catch is 12 yards. So this might be a little bit of a test for your defensive backfield, a little bit, maybe. A little bit of a test.
A little bit.
Okay, so what about the defense for Oregon State? Here's Mac Leftwich, the Texas Tech offensive coordinator, on the Oregon State defense.
Yeah, I think they're a very aggressive defense. I think they fly around, and they do what they do at a really high level. You know, the Coach Brade's been there for a while now, and so that defense that they're running has been in place for 5-6 years now. And so those guys know that defense like the back of their hand. They play it well. They know the plays that people are going to try to attack them with, and are kind of ready for that. So for us, it's just going to be about going out and executing at a high level, and they're very fundamentally sound on defense, and so just being able to match that level of play on the offensive side of the ball.
Kind of sounds like, just from when you hear this, sounds like their strength might be defense, and your strength is defense. But so it's maybe an opportunity for your offense to get a little bit of a test.
Our strength is defense. We're averaging 65, 64 points a game.
Yeah, I think our strength is defense. Yeah. I mean, I realize what the offense has done, but I think there's a pretty high level of consumer confidence about the defense.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, but I wouldn't say it's our strength.
Okay. Well, I think right now. You know more about your defense than you do your offense.
Why?
Because of that front four, because of the pressure that they're putting on the quarterback. because
and the offense isn't having success.
No, it is. But I mean, I just feel like that. I feel like I'm telling you, I didn't think Barron was. I don't think he was spot on last week, and I think that he was still suffering a little bit from his injury, and some of his passes that were off were as a result of his leg not being 100%. And I'm not being critical here. I'm just saying I think some of those misses were as a result of that. You still would like to see, okay, what's Cam Dickey going to do for you? I mean, your leading rusher is a guy that was on the scout team last year. Feels like that Caleb Douglas hasn't been as involved in the offense as you'd like him to be. I mean, I think there's still a lot of room for growth there. And I realize that it's been very productive, but I just think a strength right now is defense.
A strength or the strength?
I would say the strength.
I think we don't know. I don't know. You got to get to play real teams before you can figure out what you're going to be better at. But there is, I mean, your offense is probably top 5 in the country at this point of the season. I don't know how you're not calling that their strength.
Okay. I mean, I just kind of look at this right now and feel like that, you know, with what I think your offensive line still has some question marks until you can get some of these. I mean, you can talk about. I mean, he talked about it last night. Coach McGuire did that. You know, some communication, some lack of strain, some not winning the point of attack, or running backs not running the right spot. So I mean, it sounds like I'm picking it apart, but I think you hear less about question marks with the defense than you do the offense, and you hear the most questions about the special teams because you're not settled on a kicker yet. You had holding penalties on returns. You feel like you got your return guys in place, but you've shot yourself in the foot every time they had a nice return because you've had too many holding penalties. That's just the first couple of weeks.
First team offense has not scored on how many possessions this year? 1, 2?
Yeah, you punted twice.
The first team offense?
Yeah. Let's see. Some things here from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Somebody says defense is our strength for sure. If Murphy gets pressured, we have the chance to catch a couple of his passes.
How can you be sure about anything at this point? Because I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I'm just telling you what I think at this point in time. I mean, somebody says this, you've been critical of the offense since Saturday's postgame show. I thought that the offense looked sluggish. Our offense is a strength as much as the D.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see what ours is. I want to see us play against quality teams that are somewhat equal to us before I figure it out. I'm not certain that it's offense, but I don't know how after scoring 67 and 62 that you can say with black and white it's not the strength.
Okay, I'm just looking at last week where you had a short field for a touchdown, you got a pick six for a touchdown, you had your offense stalled a couple of times, you had to settle for field goals. You're
allowed to not score on every. Again, your first team offense has had like 10 possessions and you've scored on 8 of them.
Okay, I mean, I could be just flat out wrong. I mean, I'm just telling you what
you might be right, Chuck. I just don't know how at this point you can be so certain. I want to go back to something that Coach said there. He said they do what they do at a high level. I think we should steal that saying. That describes this show to a T. Whatever it is we do it at a high level. We do it at a high level. Whatever it is you call this, we are the top of the top.
We fail at a high level, we succeed at a high level.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet973.com.